Funny.
So I guess my first question is probably one you've had before, but I thought, might as well try. The Count of Monte Cristo is like a really well-known story. Did you feel like pressure stepping into a role that's been portrayed like so many times before? And what do you think makes this like version unique?
I think had I been aware of the story and the previous adaptations, I probably would have felt some form of pressure. I kind of live very blissfully unaware of most books and book adaptations. Because up until this year, I can now say up until this year, I was never a big reader. I'm definitely getting into my reading now, but like I think yeah, I was familiar. I knew that it was a story. I was familiar with Alexander Dumas's previous works, like The Three Musketeers and The Man in the Iron Mask, but I'd never seen an adaptation or read the book. So this was kind of my introduction to the story, and what an incredible story it is. Um, but yeah, what was the second part of the question?
What do
Sorry.
you, that's okay. What do you think makes this version unique?
I think from my understanding, like still having only seen one other adaptation, I think what makes this particular adaptation kind of unique is the fact that it's told over 8 hours. It's 8 episodes. It's a very, very dense and complex story. And I think with Edmond's sort of revenge, it's so carefully calculated and like takes time. Like he's patient, so cunning that what that what this production allows for is to sort of see the time, feel the time that it takes
Yes.
for him to done 20 years of kind of festering and producing and planning and processing. So I feel like you're gifted time through this production,
Yeah.
um, which is something that he had too much of, during his prison sentence. Uh, but yeah, I think equally the fact that it's sort of told, it's like just a classic retelling. It's as authentic and as sort of accurate to the sort of source material as we could possibly make it. Obviously, always you have to make some compromises, some sacrifices, blend a couple of characters, two characters into one. But I think generally speaking, it's sort of a very accurate retelling, and I think that's what this story deserves because it is so rich and juicy, and it's great.
Thanks for this answer. I completely agree with you. I feel like as a series, it was a lot better than as a movie. Like it, you get a lot more time to like really get through the story and just like the character development as well. Um,
Yeah, I think that's why TV is sort of having a moment. I think people
mm,
are really wanting to sort of feel the characters' every emotion and to get the backstories and to kind of understand people's motivation rather than the film moving along so rapidly. I mean, even films are now taking 4 hours to
yeah,
sort of, to allow the audience to really sit in it and to experience it properly. So yeah.
that's amazing. I guess that fits well with the second question I have. So I found that the production design was like really stunning. I loved like the scenery, the costumes, all the camera work as well, and obviously your acting. Um, what aspect of the production, like I guess, are you the most proud of as both an actor and I believe you're also executive producer on this?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have to confess, as a producer, I had very little to do with the creative side of it. It was more just the fact that I was there every day, all day. I felt like I was part of some sort of creative element. But like with regards to like the locations that we shot in, some of the most incredible sort of stately homes in Rome and Paris, in Turin uh, just incredible architecture, incredible places to visit. Yeah, I mean, we were really blessed with an incredible kind of production team, from Billy August, the director, to Sebastian Blenkov, the cinematographer. Like, I think I'd say honestly, the thing I'm most proud of is Sebastian Blankov. This is my third film with Sebastian. He was a cinematographer of The Riot Club and then a film called Their Finest. And The Riot Club is something I shot in 2013. Um, he was by no means an amateur cinematographer back then, but I think seeing how much he's progressed over the years and as a friend, like it's truly kind of remarkable. But because this has this sort of sweeping epic element to it, and he really utilized the sunsets, the sunlight, and as and when
Mhm.
he could. But across the board, it was like a really truly talented, gifted uh, group of filmmakers,
Mhm.
and that's from the international cast that we had together. But the production design, the costumes, as you say, it just every sort of element of it kind of came together to make it again as authentic as possible. Um, like some of the locations that we stepped in were as they were, and we added a few bits of furniture, but it was just when you're sort of playing around the streets of Paris, you don't have to look very far or act
Mhm.
very hard to pretend that you're living in it. You are literally living in it. So that makes my job as an actor and therefore my performance all the easier. I had very little to do in that respect.
Thanks, Sam. I guess focusing a little bit more now on your character, Edmond. Like in the series, the Edmund's trauma is really deeply felt, like his sleeplessness, drug use, like isolation. Like, did you research prisoner PTSD or like mental health, like to prepare for this role?
Um, I didn't know because I think you know the I mean, I did to an extent. Like again, I'd seen previous adaptations of the story, but I'd also read the book, and I think within that comes a lot of information. Because everyone's trauma is different. Everyone deals differently different from the same situation. So, like, I think you have to remember that the prisoner PTSD, for example, was something I was looking into and was speaking to the director about. But what he pointed out was that prison now and prison
Yeah.
50 years ago is so different to back then. And the fact that it was that particular prison is very different to a normal prison. The fact he was in solitary confinement, the fact that he had the hopefulness of getting out, and all of those elements will affect someone differently. The fact that he was so young when he was in it, like I think there you can kind of spend too much time, not waste your time, because I think it's all information. And one of the things I love most about my job is the fact that I have these opportunities to research things that I'm not familiar with. But with me, I think with this particular project, I found a lot of the information I needed and wanted was sort of there in the script, in the and in the source material. Um, like Edmund's trauma, is very deeply felt, and really this does sort of deal a lot with male mental health and his inability to communicate his feelings, or not being heard, in fact, actually. Because he obviously tries to tell his story, but no one's willing and wanting to listen. Um, but like, I think the fact that, in the later episodes when Mercedes kind of confronts him and begs him to forgive, like he's so blinded by rage and vengefulness that he's sort of become somewhat of a sociopath, like almost a psychopath. That he has no empathy, he has no feeling or emotion, and that was definitely, I'd say, the most challenging aspect of playing this character is not tapping into my own emotion and
Mm.
uh, trying to not cry when she was crying in front of me. Like it's sort of having that coldness, that obsessive and discipline focus on his ambition and his goal, which is to wrong these three men, was really mentally conflicting for me, very challenging. Um, but yeah, I'd say all of the research I needed to do was sort of written for me on the page. So I just sort of tapped into that and became very probably too familiar with our version of the story.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
as a viewer, when I watched it, I asked myself, if I were in this situation, would I behave the same way? Did you like ask yourself that question?
I did, yeah, and do you know what? It's a question I've been asked quite a lot during press. Like, has anything like this happened to you? I was like, no, like, absolutely not. I've never been put in prison for 15 years, and I don't think many people can speak out on that. You know, there are a few people that are obviously being wrongfully convicted of crimes they didn't commit, but very few really, you know. I think it's, and again, especially being so young and having lost so much, and then also knowing the names or learning the names of the three men that wronged him, like that, it's a very different set of circumstances
Mm,
than I could possibly relate to. Um, like, would I do the same? Maybe, you know,
mm,
I mean, everyone grieves in different ways, and this is his version of grief. Like
mm.
he's grieving the old him because half of his life, pretty much, he spent in
Yeah,
prison.
yeah.
He was a boy, you know, he was a boy when he went to prison, when he lost everything. And I think he came out, is the love of his life, has married her cousin, and his dad is dead, and
Yeah.
it's you know,
You can't really get
what
worse than that. Yeah.
he has nothing else to live for
Mm,
other than to sort of say, do you know what? You deserve everything you get. And I think the easy way out would have been for him to, you know, take his own life. And the fact
mm,
that he doesn't do that. So there is something in him, a burning desire to keep going. Um, so there is some form of hope in there, but it's mostly centered around rage. And I'm not someone who is sort of an angry, vengeful, or rage fueled
No, I
human
know.
being. But like, I also don't think Edmund was before he went into prison. But I think
Yeah.
when you've been tortured, when you've been, who knows what that trauma will make you do. Like, you might not, he
Yeah.
loses all sense of control in a way. So it's impossible to know what I would do in those
Yeah,
circumstances.
no.
I hope to never know what I would do in those circumstances.
Um, yeah, same. Was was there a particular scene that was like the emotionally the hardest to film?
I think most of the scenes with Mercedes, Anna Girardot is undeniably talented, and like the her performance, every take we would do would just like have me on the edge of tears myself, with her crying to me. I think I have this uh unfortunate thing though. If I see a lady cry, I immediately want to help, but I could think, and again, one of the biggest challenges for me was to sort of not feel anything, and she
Mm,
was giving me so much. But seeing those tear-filled eyes, yeah, it was really, 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 really difficult. So as much as I wasn't allowed to cry, it was all I wanted to do. Uh, and fortunately, she and I had done the majority of our stuff together. So that's sort of including the kind of conflict he is the Count. We shot all that stuff first. Then we sort of shot the prison no, then we shot me and her kind of being in love and all happy dappy and full of a very, very different kind of excitement. Uh, and then we shot the prison sequence. So when we got to the prison sequence, the tears that Edmond has for her were real, because I was like, I genuinely miss her, and miss acting alongside her. And yeah, she just gave such a wonderful performance that I think anything with her was tricky in a good, for all the right reasons.
thanks for that answer. How has playing Edmund changed you think, as an actor or even as a person?
I don't know that Edmund. specifically has changed me as a person. I think I go back as far as Daisy Jones and the Six, and that experience, which was one of the first I'd done in a while, and there were a lot of personal things that had happened in my life, and then we went through COVID, and for whatever reason, I don't know whether it's sort of like, you know, I've just evolved and grown as a person, and I'm continuing to sort of heal and learn about myself, understand myself better, and my own issues and wounds and traumas. I mean, nothing drastic, but like, we've all had some form of trauma in our lives, some big and some small. But like for me, I think the more I understand about myself and my history and my past, but also understanding where I am now, I find that, and this is this journey that sort of started since Daisy Jones. I feel like I, as an actor, approach work very differently, and I find that I'm trying to utilize my own experiences, which I was always afraid of tapping into for fear of like an emotional release. Now I'm like leaning into that. I'm like, that's what I want. That's the story. I need to access those emotions. I need to dig deep and to remember when I've had this, something like this has happened to me before. So I feel like the beginning of my career, I was trying to play characters that were sort of far removed from who I was, whereas now I'm like, no, I want to play someone who's like me and or who's got some similarities to me or has lived through something similar to what I've lived through. Um, and so, Edmond, was a slight departure from that way of
Yes.
thinking, but at the same time, I think finding the strength and focus to kind of keep moving forward, no matter what happens, is something that I was sort of going through at the time. Um, so yeah, it definitely has informed. I suppose, just been a reminder that I'm on the right path.
Yes.
That forgiveness is very key, and yeah, like yeah, there's no room for anger or rage, and so he's taught me a lot in life, but uh, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for those reflections. I really appreciate it. For the Sam Claflin Fans community, all your fans around the world, do you have any little message that you'd like to share?
I'm alive. Alive. Like it's getting very busy for me. Like I've been kind of absent for a few years, but it's because I was shooting this, the Count of Monte Cristo, and I was shooting another project immediately after that called Lazarus, which is coming out in
Yes.
October. So things are now starting to come out. There was like a year
Yes.
when nothing came out, and I was
Yes.
just busy filming. Um, but now everything's starting to come out, so you'll see a lot more of me soon. I'm very happy and very good, and I'm sort of what's the word? Carving out a new path for myself, but in an exciting way. Um, and yeah, there's sort of uh, I'm about to start another project in a few weeks. I've just finished two other projects, so it's yeah, there's lots
Okay.
to look forward to. But I hope everyone's good. I hope the network is good. Thank you
Yes.
for watching, and yeah, I hope to sort of see you all, meet you
And
all in person again
yeah,
soon.
yeah, thanks, Sam. I just, yeah, wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.